Very good morning to all of you students. Welcome to the physics class. In this session, we will study chapter number 4 of class 11th, and the name of chapter is motion in a straight line. So students, this is a important chapter for numerical and for derivation also, and this chapter is related to the mechanics. It is a branch of physics. So this is the important chapter. First of all, I want to tell you in this chapter what are the important topics and that topics can be discussed. So first is frame of reference. Second one is some proper definitions like velocity, acceleration, displacement, distance, and next one is proving of some important formulas, some important equations. So student starts. First of all, the first topic is frame of reference. So in order to understand the meaning of frame of reference, I want to tell you an example. Just imagine you are sitting in a room. So you are at that time in rest position with respect to the room, because you and room both are in the rest position. Then you can say that you are in the position of frame of respect with respect to room, and both are in the rest position. Now you are sitting in a car and car is moving. So here you are in the rest position with that person which is sitting with you in the car, but you are in the motion position with that person which is standing outside the car. So here the frame of references is different for the different position. So you are the frame of reference in motion position with respect to that person which is sitting or standing on the outside from the car, and frame of respect in the rest position with that person which is sitting along with you in the car. So I think you all understand what is the meaning of frame of reference, and it will be different for the different positions and conditions. Okay students, generally frame of reference are of two types: inertial and non-inertial frame of reference. So as you know that inertia, the concept of inertia is totally depend on Newton's law. So the concept of inertia is generated from Newton's first law. So if frame of reference follow Newton's first law completely, then in that time the frame of reference is said to be inertial frame of reference. And if it is not follow the Newton's first law, then we can say that frame of reference is non-inertial. Clear? Okay students. Now student, we will discuss here the concept of point mass. The point mass is also called a point object or simply the particle. An object is said to be a point mass when the change in its position is very large as compared to its own position. For example, a person standing on the platform is regarded as the point object for the train passing through the platform. That means if we compare that person with train, so the mass of the person is considered as a point object. Now we will discuss some other example. Earth is considered as a point object since the motion of around the sun, the size of the earth is very small as compared to the distance between the sun and the earth. It means that in this condition we can say that earth is considered as a point object. Okay students, now motion and rest. If there is no change in the position of any object with respect to circumference, then we can say that the body is said to be in rest. That means if we are sitting in a room and there is no change in its position, in our position, then we can say that we are in the rest position. And if we are changing our position time to time, then we are said to be in motion. Okay students, if we are moving by a cycle, in that time we are in the motion position because our position is changes. But if there are two persons are sitting on the same cycle, then both two persons are in the rest position with respect to each other. Clear? Okay students, Now we'll discuss here some basic definitions. First is distance and second is displacement. As you know that distance is a scalar quantity while displacement is a vector quantity. And what is the meaning of distance and displacement? It is a path covered by any object. If we covered a simplest and direct path, then it will be considered as a displacement because it is the shortest path, and we covered the same distance, same path by taking more distance, more amount of kilometers, then we can say that this path is known as distance. Clear? Okay, student. Now, next topic is speed. So as we know that speed is equal to distance upon time interval. So the distance traveled by an object in a unit interval of time is called speed of that object, and its SI unit is meter per second square and its dimension is LT minus 1. Now, velocity, the displacement of an object in unit interval of time is called its velocity. Velocity is a vector quantity while speed is a scalar quantity, and velocity is equal to displacement upon time interval. Its SI unit is also meter per second and dimension is same LT minus 1. Now student, as we know that velocity is a vector quantity, that means its magnitude and direction can be changed, because we know that scalar quantities are those quantities which have only magnitude, and vector quantities are those quantities which contain displacement and magnitude both. Now acceleration. So what is acceleration? The time rate of change of velocity of an object is called acceleration. It is represented by small a, and acceleration is equal to change in velocity upon change in time. Its SI unit is meter per second square and dimension is LT minus 2. Acceleration are up to generally two type, positive acceleration and negative acceleration. If velocity is continuously increasing, then the acceleration produced on that object is considered as a positive acceleration, because in this case final velocity increases continuously, and when the final velocity is decreasing and it becomes zero, in this case we can say that it is a negative acceleration or retardation. Now student, we discuss here time displacement graph. If we plot a graph between time on x-axis and displacement on y-axis, then we get a time displacement graph. With the help of this graph, we can calculate velocity, which is a straight line. Okay student. Now the time velocity graph, displacement velocity. So if we draw a graph where on the x-axis we take time and y-axis we take velocity, then the area covered between the graph is considered as a displacement. So with the help of time velocity graph, we can also calculate the value of displacement. Okay students. Now time acceleration graph, we can also made a graph between time and acceleration. So take time on the x-axis and acceleration on the y-axis, and the area covered between the two axes is known as velocity. Okay student. So with the help of time acceleration graph, we can also calculate the velocity. Now student, we will discuss here equations for uniformly accelerated motion. If any body is moving continuously with an acceleration, then we have three equations, and these equations are known as equation of motion as well as equations for uniformly accelerated motion, and they are v is equal to u plus at. This is first equation. Second one is s equals to ut plus half at square, and third one is v square is equal to u square plus 2as, where U initial velocity, V final velocity, A acceleration, and T is the time. Now proving up these three equations by the graphical method. So here you can see in the graph, on the x-axis we take time, on the y-axis we take velocity, and the dark line Fe represent acceleration. So for the first equation we know that acceleration is equal to change in velocity upon time. So v minus u upon t, taking cross multiplication we get v is equal to u plus at. This is the first equation of motion. For the second equation of motion, we have to take the area covered between two lines. So here area S equals to area of ABDO, and ABDO is a trapezium. So we can put here the area of rectangle ACDO plus area of triangle ABC. On putting the values, we get S is equal to UT plus half AT square. Now third equation. For third equation we use equation 1 and 2. So we know that S is the area of trapezium, and we know that area of trapezium is 1 by 2 sum of parallel sides into height. So by putting these values we get S equals to half U plus V into V minus U upon A. So V is equal to V square is equal to U square plus 2AS. This is the required derivation. Now we can also derivate these three equations by calculus method. So for the calculus method we have to use integration. So as we know that acceleration is equal to change in velocity upon change in time, is dv upon dt. So dv is equal to a into dt. Taking integration both side and putting the limits, u to v dv is equal to 0 to t a into dt. So on integrating we get v minus u is equal to at, that means v is equal to u plus at. Now equation 2. For equation 2 we know that v is equal to ds upon dt, that means change in displacement upon time is known as velocity. So ds is equal to v into dt, and from first equation we know that v is equal to u plus at. Now integrating both sides, taking limits, 0 to s, ds is equal to 0 to t u plus at into dt. On integrating we get s equals to ut plus half at square. This is the second equation. Now for the third equation, v square is equal to u square plus 2as. We have to arrange a is equal to dv upon dt, that means change in velocity with respect to time. Now we can write here dv upon ds into ds upon dt. So we get dv upon ds into v. On cross multiplication we get a into ds is equal to v into dv. Now taking integration both sides with limits, we put 0 to s integration a into ds is equal to u to v integration v into dv. Now on integrating we get v square is equal to u square plus 2as. This is the third equation of motion. Now we will discuss here equation of motion under gravity. It means that we use here g in the place of a, because we are not using linear motion. We are using here motion due to gravity. So there are three equations. First is v is equal to u plus gt. Second one is h equals to ut plus half gt square. And third one is v square is equal to u square plus 2gh. Clear? So these are the equations of motion under gravity. Now students, we discuss here equation of motion along a smooth inclined surface. That means if any body is moving or sliding on an inclined surface, then we can use these types of equations for calculating their velocities, displacement, acceleration, etc. So these are the equations. First is v is equal to u plus g sine theta into t, s equals to ut plus half g sine theta t square. Third one is v square is equal to u square plus 2g sine theta into s. So you here see acceleration is replaced by g sine theta, that means g sine theta is considered here as a acceleration, and it is a component of acceleration due to gravity. Okay students, now distance traveled by an object in a particular time. So as we already studied that distance covered by any object for any time s equals to ut plus half at square, but this formula is used for total time period. But if we have to find the distance for a particular time, then we have to use formula st equals to ut plus half at square. This is the formula for distance in t time, and st minus 1 is used for t minus 1 time. So if we subtract these two equations, we get the required equation for the distance in a particular time, s equals to u plus half a 2t minus 1. Clear, student? So these are the basic definitions, formulas and derivation process. And there are two methods, graphical method and calculus method. By any above two method you can derive these three equations. So student, learn these formula and try to solve numerical problems. Okay student, thank you very much.